Can you get a photo, please? Jaffas.
Hello. Testing. Yeah, it's not coming through my headphones. Is it coming through yours? Hello and welcome to Jack McLaughlin Oval for round 13 of the NPL Northern New South Wales. Great to have you with us this afternoon. And we're just about 5 minutes from kick-off this afternoon between the second place Edgeworth Eagles and the third place Lambton Jaffas. Damien Smith is with me in commentary. Damien, just a quick preview of the match and then we're going to head down to CT, who's on the sideline.
Yeah, this is mouth-watering matchup, Bart. As you can see, second versus third on the ladder. Whatever result is today will go top of the table, so we'll leapfrog Valentine. However, this is going to be a very crucial game, very tight game. I've noticed Ryan Griffiths is available and starting for Lambton. That's a big addition for Lambton. So they had a great result last week against Olympic, 3-2, and Edgeworth had a convincing win against Magic. So two teams in form, ready to have a go at each other. It's going to be exciting.
Now, last time we were here when Edgeworth took on Valentine, they didn't. The pitch, it wasn't in the best condition. So we're going to head down to CT. He's with Sash from Edgeworth, and they're just going to have a look at the work that's been done on this ground. An awesome job. So we'll go down to CT now.
Yeah, that's exactly right, boys. That's a really good summary. I've got here with me Sash from Edgeworth Football Club. Thanks for joining us, Sash.
No worries, Chris.
Now, the ground has come under some criticism, this pitch, over the past, pretty much all year. It's been in pretty bad shape. You've done a bit of work around the ground, yeah?
Yes, we have. Yeah, we've done a lot of work. It's actually pulled up pretty good, quite satisfactory, I believe. And there was a lot of effort put in.
Yeah, that's terrific. So there's been a fair few people involved in this, hasn't there? Look, I got a text from Millsy, who's sunning himself in Los Angeles at the moment. He said there's like 35 people involved. Who are some of the key players there?
Oh, look, Andy Melmoth, he's the groundsman. He basically, I should say, probably lives here. He looks after the ground very well. So he was the driver. He basically he hired the grass cutter to transplant the grass wherever it was required, and also through the committee and help us with parents that kids were playing here or have played here or weren't playing here, and it was a lot of people that came to help out. Yeah.
Isn't it great when you got community spirit like that? So there's three main areas that you've had to work on. One of them is just here, and we might try and get a look at it. Talk us through this area straight through this part of the pitch.
Yes, this was the main area, or one of the main areas here that needed to be looked at and rectified. So basically, along this patch here, it's quite decent patch. So we basically cut down 70 mil and retransplanted the grass, and there was ryegrass sown on top of that as well, just to give it an extra boost, and also the whole field was sprayed for what was obviously killing the grass. Yeah,
sure. And look, to be fair, it's still bumpy. It's bumpy, but it's a lot better than what it was. I remember we were here about a month ago, and during that time, there was literally sand and a lot of it through this section of the park, through the next section over there, and you've also done down in the Goldmouth as well.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes, there was a fair bit of sand that was at major areas, but we rectified that, and as you can see the ground now, we had 2 games played, 18s and 20s, and the ground has really held up really good.
I was going to say I was out here earlier this morning with the Arnett's program, and the guys there did a great job, having it looked amazing, and then we've just got to this. It's held up for the couple of games. So congratulations to Edgeworth, done a terrific job, and we look forward to the afternoon's game.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks to CT down there doing a great job with Sash from Edgeworth and having a chat about the great work they've done to fix up the pitch, as we see the players coming out onto Jack McLaughlin Oval, and a decent crowd in as well this afternoon. So we'll just run through the sides. For Edgeworth in goals, number 20 Nate Cavalier, 2 Daniel McBreen, 3 Don Bazari, 4 Pat Wheeler, 5 Aidan Bryce, 6 Lockie Pasquale, 7 Brent Hamill, 9 Brody Taylor, 11 Dylan Holtz, 15, the captain, Josh Evans. 17, Kiego Moriyasu. On the bench is 10, Kieran Sanders. 16, Will Bauer. 19, Aaron McLaughlin. And number 1, the reserve goalkeeper, Josh Lowe. For the Lambton Jaffas. In goals, 1, Brad Swancott. 2, Liam O'Dell. 3, Nathan Morris. 6, the captain, Joe Wheelhouse. Number 8, Ben Hay. 9, Joel Griffiths. 10, Michael Kantorowski. 11, Luke Remington. 19, Michael Sessions. 4, Nathan Verity. And 23, Ryan Griffiths makes his first appearance in Jaffas colours. On the bench for them, 5, Rich Marpu. 12, Dane Greentree. 15, Riley McNaughton. 17, Pat Brown. And the backup goalkeeper is number 20, Ben Calling. Our referee this afternoon is Stephen Laurie. It's about 18 degrees at Jack McLaughlin Oval this afternoon. The wind about 15 kilometres now from the south, so that will be behind Lambton in the opening 45 minutes. Damien Smith.
And that breeze is quite cool actually up here in the box, so a little bit fresh, but beautiful afternoon for football. Nice winter's afternoon. Just on the pitch, CT's just joined us now, but on the pitch, we've seen this pitch a few weeks ago when Edgeworth played Valentine. It was like a sandpit, so it's much improved. Still a bit bumpy out there, but I think the pitch will improve over the coming weeks.
How are you, boys? Great afternoon for it.
Great interview down there with Sash as well, CT.
Yeah, he gave a great account of what's happened with the ground bar.
As we're underway, Ryan Griffiths goes back to Nathan Morris. 2 old heads there to start us off at Jack McLaughlin this afternoon. And boys, Edgeworth, they haven't lost in 14 matches here. Lambton, they haven't lost in 9 matches away. Is that going to be broken this afternoon, or will it be deadlocked?
You know what, hard to tell at the moment. For me, Edgeworth's been the form side of the competition. They were outstanding against Magic last week. I really love their shape with a 5-3-2. However, Lambton had a good win last week, but they've got a few additions back into the side. Michael Kantorowski comes back. Ryan Griffiths comes back into the side, and Ridge Marpu comes to the bench. So, and they've changed a bit of formation and shape today as well, playing with a 5-3-2 as well. So very similar contrasting shapes. So it's going to be a very tight battle, I believe.
See Don Bazzari involved there for Edgeworth. Ben Hay is up to Joel Griffiths.
Interesting to see the 2 Griffiths boys playing as a twin striker. Obviously they'll know each other's game inside out, so be interesting to see the combinations there.
Well, this would have started for them when they were kids in the backyard, wouldn't it, Smudge? You know, all the little combinations you build up as a 4, 5, 6, 10-year-old.
Almost threaded through here for Brent Hamill. He was facing away from goal, and Nathan Morris has to clear it over the sideline. Lambton have only lost 1 of their last 7 matches. That was against the Jets Youth just a couple of weeks ago in round 11. McBrain lays it off for Moriyasu, but Swancott is there. He runs into Moriyasu. Stephen Laurie is telling him to make sure everything was all good there. Brad Swancott will clear it out.
And that game versus the Jets, Pascoe said they were very flat. And I thought Lambton were a little bit flat in the first half last week against Hamilton. However, the second half they actually picked up, and they probably had a 10-minute period where they dominated and scored 3 goals, which got them the result.
And Bryce goes long and finds Pat Wheeler. Goes to Dylan Holtz. Joe Wheelhouse is in there, diving in low. The Jaffas captain, Edgeworth. After a slow start to the season, they are 8 matches unbeaten. The last 6 have been wins, so 18 points out of 18 in their last 6 matches. Here's Moriyasu, bumped to ground by O'Dell. No whistle from Stephen Laurie.
You've got to say, yeah, and they're the ones that can go against you, so they've been very fortunate. Have Lambton on that occasion.
They're the ones that where you give a referee a reason to blow a penalty, isn't it? When little bumps like that.
You just wonder if the game, you know, if things happen, it's progressed further down the game, whether that one does go a penalty. But smart decision by the referee there.
Huge match for Lambton. You know, we've spoken about how much it means on the ladder. If Edgeworth do lose this afternoon, you know, it's not really panic stations for them. They're only going to be. They're only going to be 2 points behind Lambton. But if Lambton lose this afternoon, it'll be a 4-point gap opened up on them by Edgeworth. So huge in the minor premiership race, this one for Lambton.
For sure. And when they do, like they shape up for this game.
Zari calls it in, just a little overhit.
You've got to prepare that this is a real game-changing season-changing
Dylan Holtz rides a couple, plays it towards the back post where Michael Kantorowski is there to head it away.
For me, this game's not going to lose you the premiership for either side, I think. So, because there's still 8 rounds to go.
I think, yeah, I definitely 100% agree with you, Smudge, there. I don't think this match is going to... Brent Hamill curls this one in. McBreen almost on the end of it. And then Ben Hay has an air swing. Holtz puts it back in. And Luke Remington going to try and clear it away for Lambton. I want to say that I don't think this match will lose the minor premiership, but it'll make it a lot harder for Lambton if they lose this one than it will if Edgeworth lose it.
Yeah, I can't see Edgeworth losing too many games from here on in. UCT, what are your thoughts?
I think they've just been getting better as they've been going along, and the fact that you leave Sanders out and you bring in McBreen, that's the sort of strength that you've got.
Hey, and Adam Corley got a bit of a knock at training on Friday, so they've left him out, and he was a 2-goal hero last week. He was so dominant against Magic last week.
His first 2 goals in the NPL, and he gets a rest this week with the injury, so he hopefully for Edgeworth will be back next weekend for their FFA Cup match.
For more reports, he should be right for next week. So
Josh Evans brings it out.
It's just the beauty about this. It's just about the talk up.
Josh Evans.
But this is the beauty about the shape. You can have a lot of width with a 3-4 or 5-3-2. Really stretch the game.
We talk about a 5-3-2 and a 3-5-2 respectively for these sides. You know what? For me, they're virtually the same. I mean, they're both going to defend with 5. They're both going to have 5 through the middle of the park, and they're both going to have some guys getting in wide positions to get crosses in. So. Just the way they physically shape at different points of the game might be the only thing different in the shapes, but that's probably about it.
We've got some other big matches on this afternoon as well, so we'll keep you up to date with those. Western and Magic, Hamilton Adamstown on this afternoon. The Jets youth with the bye.
Yeah, I believe this game is all about discipline at the back. If whatever team stays disciplined at the back, I believe they'll score. Either team can score. They've got weapons to score goals. So, for me, Edgeworth have only conceded 6 in 10 games. That's phenomenal. It's very good stuff. So if they don't concede, they've got the runs on the board to score goals. So.
Yeah, yesterday, Valentine, it was a tight match. They got the job done 1-0 over Lake Macquarie. Maitland and Charlestown, the other match this afternoon, up at Cook Square Park. Just over 5.5 gone. It was a top of the table clash before the start of the round, this one. Second and third now with a win to Valentine yesterday. They've gone the top of the table, but...
and a big congratulations to Darren Sills and Valentine, top of the table.
Yes, he deserves that coach of the
first round
of matches status. Although they won't be at the top of the ladder after this round because one of these sides has to get points out of this one. So they will go, if Lambton win, they'll go ahead. If Edgeworth win, they'll go ahead. And even with a draw, Edgeworth have a better differential. So they'll go to the top of the ladder.
But even so, it's tremendous first half of the season for Valentine.
And probably just 2 wins off sealing a spot in the finals.
Yeah, we said we think 32 points. 2 wins will make them 31, but we're thinking 31, 32 points will get you through to the top 4.
That's Swancott. It's long and Brodie Taylor after it. Should say Pat Wheeler gets his boot to it and Cavalier rolls it wide to Bryce. The players wearing the blue and white armbands for the men's health round this weekend. A wonderful initiative from Northern New South Wales Football.
Just on men's health, I went for a bit of a blood test during the week.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I haven't got the results yet, so unsure.
Well, let's hope you're all right. Let's hope you're all right.
Well, we know there's some issues there related to his blood.
Lockie Pasquale, wide for Wheeler. Takes them on down the left and goes inside to Holtz.
He was outstanding last week, wasn't he, Holtz? Set up 2 goals.
He was crucial for Edgeworth at the back end of last season. He scored 4 goals in their last 6 matches last year. 3 this season for Dylan Holtz. He was also in your team of the first round, Smudge.
Yeah, and last week against Magic just cemented that. He was superb as that box-to-box midfielder. Set up 2 goals. Unlucky not to score 1 or 2 himself. I think he's got about 4 goals already this year as well.
Speaking of guys you could have in your team, I was speaking to Brad Swancott before the game. He just had a spring in his step. He looked very focused, and he just had that look in his eye like he was ready to play, and he seemed to be confident about his team as well. So expecting a good game this afternoon.
Kantarowski. It was a bit of an awkward clearance there for Pat Wheeler, but they did enough. Did Edgeworth.
I was talking Swancott up last week. TT, you're away, but yeah, I was talking him up, and within a second, Goodchild scores a long-range goal. Yeah, I was talking him up.
Oh, quality strike too, wasn't it?
It was a great goal.
That was a brilliant strike from Goodchild, as was Sam Walker's, but just the ability from him. Received the ball on the halfway line and dodged defenders and scored. It was brilliant from Goodchild last weekend.
What I liked about it, because I had a couple of looks at it, was the way that he created that metre or so. Young
Jesus throws straight to Ryan Griffiths. Well, what a chance here. Griffiths, can he tee up his brother? Well, Joel Griffiths almost getting a touch there. Cavalier did enough to block Griffiths, and the cross fades away for Lambton.
I have no idea what happened on the sideline because he was away.
It was strange. Just now Edgeworth pushing up through Bren Hamill, and Liam O'Dell goes back to Brad Swancott. Drives it down the middle. McBreen, if he had got it on target, Swancott may have been in trouble. Moriyasu goes back for Taylor into the head of Verity. Cannons into the grandstand. Kigo Moriyasu.
And again, what a great ball by Ryan Griffiths. Well-weighted pass, just bubbled over. It was brilliant.
Low, so it's there at volley height, or just side foot. Yeah, that's the sort of ball that you want into the box, because they're the ones that are most successful.
And he's going to be a key for Lambton in the second half of the season.
Yeah, totally agree with that, Smudge.
And also it's great for the local NPL having ex-Socceroos and A-League players back in.
Here's Brodie Taylor curling one in. Bazari was there. Would have been a rare goal for him.
Wheelhouse on the ball right now. What a big afternoon Lambton be hoping for from him. He's been like the real general in the middle of the park, controlling play, the pace, the direction of it.
Yeah, for me, he was a standout last week. He was unlucky not to get our player of the match.
He always is going to be up there, isn't he, Joe Wheelhouse?
The thing is, we expect it, don't we, from Job?
He delivers, and he delivers as well.
Yeah.
That's an important thing as well. I just wanted to mention, boys, of the last 6 matches between these two sides, 5 of them have been decided by the scoreline 2-1. The only match that wasn't was the match last year at this similar juncture in the season, the week before the FFA Cup, when Lambton got done 5-0 by Edgeworth. Massive scoreline. Apart from that, the other 5 matches in their last 6 have been 2-1.
And the last time they played, it was 2-1.
2-1 in round 2.
To Lambton.
Yep. Round 2 they met, 2-1.
That was the last time Edgeworth lost.
And Pat Brown, who's on the bench this afternoon, out of the side with Ryan Griffiths now in. He scored a double that night. He had so much confidence early on in the season. Till that round 6 injury against Magic. He hasn't scored since. Here's Remington. 2 goals last weekend. He curls in towards Ryan Griffiths. Heads it back to Joel Griffiths. His touch a little heavy to Ben Hay, and Lambton look to build it up from the back again.
Liam O'Dell was outstanding. He was our Premier Sports Supply Man of the match on last Saturday.
That shows you how good he was, because he did make the mistake that led to the first goal, Liam O'Dell, so he made up for that in a mighty way. It's Michael Sessions. Dangerous ball. Pat Wheeler with the head up, and Don Bazari will be first one to it. Pitch a little damp underfoot, so ball holding up nicely for Don Bazari there. He goes to Daniel McBreen. Makes it off for Holtz.
Good to see McBreen back from Hong Kong. He said he had a blast over there for 7 days.
And how'd he go over there? I haven't checked that out. In the Hong Kong Sevens, was it?
They came second.
Came second.
They lost 3-2 in the final.
Gee,
I know all my stats, mate. You ask me any questions?
There you go.
So we'll thank Gary Borrowdale for that. Doing all of his finger work at the best, same as Smith.
There's Kigo Moriyasu in a little bit of strife here. Bren Hamill gets clipped by Verity, and the free kick goes his way. Edgeworth, I should say Lambton, they haven't won at Jack McLaughlin Oval since July 2014. They won 2-1. Riley McNaughton and Pete McPherson with the goals that afternoon.
Tell you what, Bart, not many teams win here. You're always happy to walk away with 3 points.
Well, it was actually a bit of a scuffle at the end of that match. It was the first season Bar TV was covering the NPL, and there was a bit of a scuffle in the back end of that one as Bazari goes Swancott. It was between the crowd and a player. I can't quite remember who it was, but yeah, it was a bit of feeling in that one. It was Brodie Taylor. It was 2014 was the year the Jaffas won the title for Edgeworth's dominance the last 2 seasons. They're back up there again this year, Lambton.
Just one thing, this is just a bit of trivia for you. Brad Swancott's goalkeeping uniform, I like how it's a reverse colour, because normally goalkeepers wear totally a different colour to the team. See how it's a reverse colour to the actual team? I actually don't mind it.
We've got the close-up of it there. Do you think that's coincidence, that's just Swanee, or do you think that's planned, Smudge?
Unsure.
Maybe I'd like a bit of brown in it, because the Jaffas are technically yellow and brown. So he's got the black and yellow. Luke Remington takes on Aiden Bryce, cuts one into the middle. Canarossi, they haven't looked as sturdy, the Edgeworth defence, in the opening 14 minutes. That's just to me, Smudge. I don't know what you've thought. I CT.
Yeah, there's a few changes from last week. John Bazari's gone on the left-hand side as a wing-back. Oh, great ball.
That's a lovely ball to Nathan Verity, who cuts it into the middle. And Josh Evans says, let's get out of here, and just clears it up over the stand.
Yeah, last week they looked very sturdy, didn't they? Magic didn't even threaten them. However, there's been a few adjustments. Zanes has made a few changes to their back line.
Just quickly, while we're on this side of the park, there's a good crowd in today. I don't know, normally it's sort of, pretty empty on the other side, but over this side the stands are full.
It's built up late, hasn't it?
It sure look, it really has, and it's created a great atmosphere here.
Michael Kantorowski. Ball played in. Last time we were here was back in round 10 when Edgeworth beat Valentine 1-0. And it was a little bit rainy and overcast that afternoon, and we actually had a mate up on the hill standing by himself in the rain.
Was that Robert Gilly?
Robert Gilly, we thought it was. I don't think it was, but as now it's played in. Swancott, well, he gets Lambton out of a bit of a pickle there as Moriasu was flowing through. He scored 20 of his 24 NPL goals at Jack McLaughlin Oval. How's that for a stat for Kigo Moriasu?
Old Twinkle Toes Swancott did very well to read the play there.
I was just going to say, Smudge, isn't that the beauty of having Brad Swancott in goals for you? Because he's read that super early. He's up near the circle at halfway when he's delivering it. You don't see any other keeper. Maybe Carter does from Valentine.
Here's Daniel McBreen. He has some space in front of him. He goes to Holt, who tries to play the 1-2, but Joe Wheelhouse read that one. Plays it to Joel Griffiths. It's a clip from Wheeler. Quickly bounces back to his feet.
What I like with Lambton side at the moment, last week, or mainly for most of the year, Pasco's played with a 3-4-3, but he's gone with a 3-5-2 today with the two Griffiths boys up front. But I like how he's got Michael Kenner just sitting in front of the three and pushing Joe Wheelhouse a little bit further forward as the more creative player. That's a great ball in.
Here's Ben Hay. His ball into the middle, lets him down. And, well, probably fortuitously for Lambton, it's only going to be a throw for Edgeworth. It's gone over the sideline. Deep in their territory. There he is, the Lambton Jaffas coach, James Pascoe. Second year in charge after coming in a week before the start of the season last year.
Yeah, I don't mind the 5-3-2 or the 3-5-2. I prefer that than the 3-4-3. There's more flexibility in it, I believe, in attack and defence.
Here's Pasquale. On field for Taylor. Looks for Moriasu. And that is a mismatch, isn't it? Michael Sessions up against Diego Moriasu. The size difference there. There's at least a couple of feet on him.
Yeah, Smudge, on your 5-3-2 or 3-5-2, I agree, and I've been a big fan of it, because what you can also do is you can use those guys to get into attack, your left and right fullbacks, if you like, get them in attack, and then the other one balance off in as an extra defender if it breaks down. So, personally, big fan.
Here's McBreen, touches back to Bazari. He's playing high today, isn't he, Don Bazari?
He's playing on the wide left wing back, where last week he played like the left-sided stopper in the back three.
And this is the thing that Damien Zane does. He pretty much turns every player into a utility player. So he can bring Don Bazari into the defensive midfield role, which he was so good at in the weeks previous, and now he's playing at left wing back. So just so versatile, these Edgeworth players. There's Hamill, lays it off for Taylor. Scored last week against Magic, and Daniel McBrain thought about maybe sticking out an arm, decided against it.
And CT, just going back on your comments, you're exactly right. Yeah, you're exactly right. The flexibility, and like if you're under the pump, you can actually play with 5 at the back and really lock it away. But if you're in the attack, you can play 4 up front and really put pressure on them. So that's why I like the flexibility. Where other systems are just 2, 1 off, unless players are rotating.
And that flexibility you're talking about, 5 at the back, or it could be that 3 in the middle turns into 5 in the middle, or it could be 4 up front.
Exactly. That's why.
But the part that I like the most about it is, your pendulum effect, if you like, with your left and right defenders. They can put cover on and come in as deep as a sweeper if they need to as well.
And it's a system that really suits the versatility of Edgeworth, doesn't it?
It does.
Puts them to a T.
Oh, great touch by
Griffiths to Wheelhouse. We've seen him score from that kind of range before. Instead, he goes wide for Joel Griffiths. Back for Ben Hayes. Got a really good cross on that left boot. He decides to go short for Wheelhouse. Plays it in there is Ryan Griffiths. Just putting his header wide. Maybe a head clash.
Yeah, it looked like a head clash, just at the back.
Of course, he's just come out of playing for the Western Sydney Wanderers. Played some A-League and ACL matches for them, coming in late in the piece. From Tony Popovich's side. Interestingly for him, 7 of his 20 goals in the A-League have come in the final 15 minutes of matches, so maybe look out for him. He is fit at the moment, Ryan Griffiths, being with the Wanderers set up.
He's looked good. He's looked very good early on.
Lays it off to Remington, and that's the thing. He's not a player that's been out of the A-League for 6 months or so. He has been training up until, what was it, the 30th of May.
Well, he's been training with Lambton for the last 2 weeks as well.
Exactly. Well, yeah. So he's come in from training with the Wanderers to the Jaffas straight away. So
just going back on the 3-5-2 or the 5-3-2, you're forced to play with width because you've got wing backs. So you've already automatically got width, which is great. But you must have players who can actually play the wing back role. That's
right.
The key. If you haven't, you can't play the system.
And what Smudge is meaning by that is they've got to be fit, they've got to be mobile, and they've got to have the ability to defend, attack, midfield. They've got to do the whole lot. Plus, they've got good delivery as well.
Obviously, me and you wouldn't suit that sort of style, CT.
Not suiting many styles at the moment, Smudge.
Michael Sessions chips one up the line, and Aidan Bryce is onto it for the Eagles. Chips it back for Nathan Morris. So a couple of nervous mistakes, you could say, from the sides in the opening 20 minutes. Moriyasu almost with a chance, and then a throw from Edgeworth that ended up with Ryan Griffiths. But apart from that, it's been very much an arm wrestle. I want to get back to that, but first up, we've got a score. Maitland, what is going on with them at the moment? They're down 1-0 to Charlestown. Been struggling the last couple of weeks of the Magpies, so they are down 1-0 at home. Charlestown score first for the second week running.
Now, in the car over here, was talking about Magic. I'll tell you, if Maitland don't get a result today, or if Hamilton don't get a result today, and Magic do, they're only 3 points behind, so I wouldn't discount them out of the 4.
Exactly. Everyone's just sort of struggling. The sides outside the top 3, really. Valentine, Lambton and Edgeworth have just shot off.
And we spoke about Magic, probably winning 7 out of their last 8 games, depending on other results.
Maybe they don't have to.
Maybe
that's 25
right.
points will get you into the 28.
Normally it's about 28-ish.
I think we spoke about Magic the whole way over, didn't we?
Yeah, well, Smudge was driving the conversation, wasn't he? Yes. Daniel McBrain curling it into Moriyasu. Lays it off. Holtz! Blazes it over.
I reckon if Dylan Holtz had his time again, he could dummy that kick and go round. I know it's Gary Ballarday's agreeing. Like, he could have just faked that kick, gone round, bang, slotted home.
You see him come across.
So dummy?
He ends up with a little bit more time than he expected, I think. Just quickly, Smudge and I have been getting some texts from Warren Mills, who's over in LA at the moment. So he goes over on this machinery workshop tour, takes a couple of his main men, who's Mark Brown and Chad Presbury, right? So hopefully they're listening. If they are, boys, hello. But what about he says, so he does that, and then he goes to Las Vegas for 4 days to recover. How do you
Can you explain that again? He's going to what? A machinery and
workshop tour. And
what's that code for?
Well, I don't know, but if you've got to go to Las Vegas for 4 days to recover, you go and work it out.
What's the time over there at the moment?
I think they're 5 hours in front of us, but 19 behind, so it's going to make them about 7, 8 o'clock tonight, 10 to 8.
8 last night.
10 to 8 last night. So they're enjoying their Saturday
confused
night.
me. You said 5 hours in front of us, but 10 hours.
Yeah, well, technically smudge, you know.
Okay.
Like, it's all right.
Yeah, I understood, CT. I understood. Here's Daniel McBrain.
Most people would, but
He's whipped this one towards Bazzari and Brad Swancott. I just want to speak to you boys about the opening half of this first half. Couple of nervy moments I mentioned from both sides, but really, apart from that, it's been a real arm wrestle, as you would expect.
If anything, I'd probably say Lambton's probably just shading it just a little bit, mainly because they've got into a few key areas and crossed the ball and had a few sort of half chances. Probably, to be honest, very even. They're both playing very similar systems. Bit of a game of chess at the moment.
Yeah, it has been close as well, but I think something that struck me early is Kandarovsky coming back into the side and what a difference he's made next to Wheelhouse. So everyone's expecting Wheelhouse to do all the work. Kandarovsky's on the ball a lot. He seems to be he's looking around. He's dropping it off, playing good balls, making great decisions. So having him in the team's making a great impact on the Lambton side, and that's why I feel like they're shading them. And just on that, I like the way that Job's playing a little bit further forward and. Kandarovsky's just playing in front of the three, so he's got space and he's a good distributor of the ball. So you can see where he is now. He's ready. If the ball pops out, he's looking for the scraps. He's there. He'll either make a decision to have a shot or drop it in behind the defence.
Here's Nathan Morris. He's deadly with the free kicks, and it's not a bad ball in as well. Wheelhouse goes up, and Edgeworth with the free kick. Laurie seeing an infringement in there. We've got a score update from Darling Street. Hamilton Olympic 1-0 up over the Rosebuds, so a bad week for the Rosebuds. Just got a little bit worse there, but there's still plenty of time left. Just I wanted to mention that the sacking of Pete McGuinness and Nick Webb appointed. But do you agree with Adamstown? Oh, I do. I think if he's not going to be there next year, I think it's good to move on and look to the future. You two going to say anything?
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yeah. I want your opinion on Adamstown.
What's your thoughts?
Adamstown sacking McGuinness. McBrain plays it to Moriyasu.
Nice touch by Moriyasu.
Wasn't it ever?
Now Hamill.
No, Bart, let's go and visit that for a minute. So which way do you go? I mean, Adamstown have got some choices to make. They didn't know, well, allegedly they didn't know that he's talking to Olympic. It's a really difficult one for both parties. Ginno's just looking to look after his future for next season. He sees an opportunity at Olympic. From his point of view, he's probably all very comfortable with it. From Adamstown point of view, different story.
We'll see Hamill here, curling one in, and Michael Sessions with the header away. Griffiths. Yeah, I think it's a good decision because I think you need to move on and look to the future, and if your coach isn't going to be there next year, I think it's fair enough.
And also, you've got half a season to go as well, so there's a chance for someone to come in, just try and get things moving for next year. Nothing to lose, really.
And that's what I was saying to you, Smudge, as Hamill curls it in. What an opportunity for Nick Webb here. Hasn't coached at the NPL level before. Great opportunity for him to put himself in the spotlight.
I'll make a statement here. This wouldn't be Peter McGuinness, but if you're coming, in a side that was coming last, you've got the second half of the season, and you're moving on next year, the club may think, how much value are we actually going to get out of our coach? Ginno would never drop the ball ever. He would never do that.
No, at all.
The club might be thinking, as you say, with Nick Webb, let's just try this out.
Look for the future.
Let's see how we go and give him time to settle in, so he's not coming in fresh again. Let's face it, they've had a few coaches over the last few years.
But look at Hamilton. Bolchi obviously has been, hasn't put his hand up again for next year, and they've appointed McGuinness. For me, and you mentioned it during our show, CT, I think the boys are going to really lift for Hamilton, and they're going to really push and try and make him go out a winner.
Well,
and on that...
Yeah, 2-0, Hamilton lead now at Adamstown. It's a side that's invigorated, taking on a side that's just a bit flat, you'd have to say. Hamilton will have so much energy after the news with Bolch departing, sending him out a winner. So, and Adamstown, another season for them that just seems to be going by the wayside a little. 27.5 gone.
It's very important for Hamilton to win today if they want to, maintain that fourth spot. Because
keep on the coattails of the sides above them.
Because at the moment for me, Edgeworth, Lambton, and I'd say Valentine, That's probably 3 in the 4 at the moment. So there's either Hamilton, Lakes, Maitland and Magic. Maybe Charlie if they get a result today. Pushing for that 4th spot.
Maitland have hit the wall big time as Pat Wheeler on the turn. And Hay tries to get off him. Now Bazari looks to release Brodie Taylor. His Sessions got the pace to keep toe with him. He does. And
it's been good Sessions.
Yeah, he has. He has been really good. He's been good pretty much all year. Just back to Michael Bolts for a minute. You know, one of the things, I'll just speak broadly here, he, in, 7, 8 years he's had at the club, I'm not sure how many, but it's been quite a few, has done well every year. It feels like if he hasn't been in the finals...
Made the finals every year but 2.
Okay, there you go.
Stat I've got.
And the 2 that he hasn't been in, I bet he was very close to it.
Sixth he was in 2014. Mick Bolch, I wasn't sure of the other year, but 6th, what's that? And that was a 5-team finals, I'm pretty sure. So,
however, for a big club, you want to be in the 4, like Magic. You need to be in the 4.
Let's put it there. He's been there virtually every year, you know, and he's been in grand finals and semi-finals, and you know, it's just, I think for him, he'll want to go out, he'll shake hands, and then, you know, he'll look in the rear vision mirror at the end of the season and know he's had a great time and look forward to his future, whatever that one pans out to be.
Just looking at the crowd, we just saw some shots there. Do you think Ryan Griffiths being out there just boosted this crowd by a few hundred, would you say?
Oh, look, yes and no.
I'd say you look at the players that are out there on the park, you've got Wheelhouse, you've got, you know,
Joel,
brother,
Breen.
Yeah, exactly.
And the young stars from Edgeworth and Lambton. There's some good qualities, like footballers out there, so, and it's top of the table clash as well.
Evans, you know what, you can go through these players. There's some good footballers out in this park this afternoon.
Oh, great header by Joe.
Odell.
And you could say all of them.
Surges through the middle and goes over the top for Joel Griffiths. Chases down towards that northern end of Jack McLaughlin Oval and just beats him.
He just took a bit of a bobble when Odell went to play the ball to Griffiths.
Boys, we're just coming up to half an hour mark, and this isn't, you know, like we're going to talk about man of the matches later and Harry Schnitzel's player of the day. We've obviously got to get a joke in, but this is not my joke, all right? So, I'll come back. Don't you two look at me and be ready to laugh. Plus, I've forgotten the joke.
Dylan Holtz. Now to Aiden Bryce. His touch was a little heavy. Luke Remington almost picking it off him.
What's wobbly and flies in the sky?
Chris Turner.
A jellycopter. Oh, Wheels. Brad Wheels loving that. But as I said, boys, that wasn't my joke.
Brad, surely it's not a 2. That's a minus 10.
Okay, let me tell you.
That doesn't even get a rating. That was that bad. Oh.
Okay, so
Josh Evans. It was almost as bad as that shank from Josh Evans.
It came straight off Peppa Pig this morning.
Oh my word! It's Joe Wheelhouse. Steps away from Holtz, back to Ben Hay. Lovely, intricate passing from the Jaffas. That was beautiful, as was Aiden Bryce's interception. Verity. That could have gone down as goal of the season. And Aiden Bryce, where's that gone?
And we talk about Joe Wheelhouse playing further forward. Cantor Rossi sitting back, allows him to get forward, to make them 1-2s. The forward run, that was well played and very unlucky.
I've had a few shanks from the back edge. I'm not sure why that would be.
Oh, I'll tell you why it is, but because they're under pressure. When you're under pressure, you've got less time. You've got to make hasty decisions, and that's what's happened there. I'll tell you what, though, that ball over the top of the Wheelhouse
Ben Hay, yep.
Absolutely perfect.
So Nathan Morris right against the fence. He's just getting the ball boy to move away there. Nathan Morris curling that one in. And Nate Cavalier against his former club. He was at the Jaffas previously before moving to Edgeworth this season.
So, CT, I've got a question for you. Sure. So there's Joel Griffiths, Ryan Griffiths, and Adam Griffiths. Which 2 are the twins? Who are the twins?
The one that's not playing. And Adam.
Sorry. Yeah, Adam. And yeah, but who's he a twin with?
Ryan.
No, it's Adam and Joel.
Adam and
really?
Joel.
Okay.
Now, you know the other interesting fact, which I just found out today.
Ben Hay curls this one in and does just get nodded clear of the 18-yard box, but Wheelhouse is quick to put it back in, and up was Ryan Griffiths again. Ben Hay just to blow it low.
You know the other interesting fact is the 3 of them are born on the same day.
Is that right?
Have the same birthday.
How do you know that?
I'm just smart.
No, you've got too much time in your hands. What do you go and ring him up and say,
No,
boys, what day are you born on?
No. I'll just I've done a bit of a Wikipedia this on the
Wikipedia?
Well, you haven't got too much time.
No, it's just a quick one. And yeah,
Where's the peer-reviewed journals, mate? I'm in uni. I don't go near Wikipedia, Smudge. It's dodgy information. How do you know that's true?
Well, that's what they're saying.
Still
So obviously the twins are born on the same day.
That is very impressive. Daniel McBrain chips over the top towards Moriyasu. Odell now under a little bit of pressure. He's able to get it clear. Bazzari. He gets... Well, I thought the whistle was going to go for Don Bazzari there.
Yeah,
but
so did I.
He just looked
Stephen
to me like
Laurie.
he milked it.
And we mentioned Stephen Laurie. He was our referee of the first 11 rounds, and that was great to include the referees in that little team that we came up with. So,
And you know what, Steve Laurie, good, young, up-and-coming.
McBrain, there's a strong tackle. Tries to go across the face, and Sessions just puts it over the sideline. They're all down. It's like McBrain and Odell.
Who else is down?
Trying to hit the number plate.
You can see some of the tackles here, how desperate they are just to get the job done.
It's like a war zone for a moment. There's McBrain lying on the ground.
Whoever it is no good, it looks like. Swancott's waving to the bench.
Boys, just while we've got a minute.
Nathan Morris, actually. Nathan Morris is down. He doesn't get injured too often, does he, Nathan Morris?
No, he doesn't. Well, just quickly, while we've got a minute, we had the pleasure of coming to the Arnett's program this morning, which Edgeworth proudly put on. This is a program for children with special needs. This is our third week here. We've got our son Charlie involved, and I tell you what the job they're doing here, if you've got a child at home with some special needs, no matter, even if they're in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter, bring them down. What I've been witnessing over the past few weeks is nothing but pure joy from the children, and they have the best time on all of this. They all score, they do a penalty thing at the end, they all high-five, and the heavens open up.
Yeah, or CT, I think it's a fantastic initiative from Edgeworth.
Totally agree.
Fantastic initiative, and I know how much joy your son Charlie gets out of it, which is awesome to hear as well.
Yeah, I'll just finish off by saying that high fives, the kids, like as in Charlie, I'll talk about him. He scores a goal, he runs straight over to mum, big high five, then come back and then he's holding hands. Kids hold hands with their parents when they play mostly, and I think it's just the enjoyment they get. It's, as Smudge said this morning, it's a joy that these kids don't normally get the opportunity to do. So to Mark Midson and all the people that help out, just keep going, guys, because you're absolutely changing fun and lives for children that needs help. And also one more real quick one is not just the kids, it's a great way for parents to interact and to speak to each other also on the sidelines who have faced similar challenges. So the whole thing, it's a triple thumbs up for Edgeworth in supporting this program, and really hope the Federation see the value and help get in behind it as well, with the help of maybe some things like some gear and balls and registrations, etc.
Yeah, and let's hope the Federation do get involved.
Well, I do too. I know there's been some involvement, but I think we need to get some of the guys to come down and actually look to see what happens. And these kids don't normally, they've never had a place here really to come and be a part of it. So, yeah, big fan, and I hope they continue to grow.
Yeah, totally agree with that, CT.
Yeah, and I think it'd be a wonderful thing for Northern New South Wales football to involve themselves with as well, CT.
Yeah, for sure, and no doubt they'll be onto it soon.
Now, just having a look out there, Ridge Mapu was being readied. He is being readied, and he will come onto the ground. So earlier than expected, he is back this week from a hamstring injury.
So it looks like Michael Kantorowski's, who's been playing in that number 6 role just in front of the back three, moves into the central back line, which is accustomed to that role. Ben Hay moves in the centre with JB Wheelhouse anchoring just in front of the Luke Remington and Wheelhouse, and Ridge Mapu goes on the right-hand side as a wing-back.
Here's McBrain. Ridge Mapu, we mentioned his ability, his speed on that right-hand side. It's part of your side as well, Smudge, in that opening round.
Yeah, he's been outstanding for Lambton. And talking to Pasco during the week, he's been very impressive Ridge. He's been out for the last week or two due to a hamstring, so...
Yeah, 4 goals last season for Valentine. He's yet to score this year, is Ridge Marpu. Played a little higher up the pitch in 2016 for the Phoenix. Aiden Bryce. This is this width we talk about from Edgeworth as Hamill has to take on Nathan Verity. He has been strong this afternoon. Reefs one up the line. Josh Evans read that one. Goes to Pasquale. Now Hamill. Play it past Verity. Dylan Holtz. Now McBreen. Just a knee off to
Great
Brody
touch by
Taylor.
McBreen. Just on Nathan Morris, looked like he said he had a jolt to the knee. He just wasn't feeling stable, so that's why he came off.
Let's hope it's all good, because he's getting on in his career and makes it harder to come back from injuries as you get older.
Score round on the ground.
We've got 1-1, Maitland and Charlestown, and 2-0 Hamilton over Adamstown. If you've got the score at Western, I'll just give that a quick check in a minute.
I've got a contact at Western. It must be, they're going to send through score updates, so it must be zit at the moment, 0-0. Just check my message.
It's a big match as well for Western and Magic. 39 gone here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. Edgeworth and Lambton locked at 0-0. Lambton probably with more control of the opening 20 minutes or so, and since then Edgeworth have come back into it and created a few chances of their own, as was the case just a minute ago.
So the Edgeworth faithful here in the box with us are providing some great entertainment for the boys. And it's only going to get more boisterous as we go this afternoon, you imagine.
And the alcohol keeps flowing.
Can only encourage that sort of behaviour.
Here's Ben Hay.
While we're on that, don't forget we've got our Harry Schnitzel play of the day, and maybe we've got a contender or two up here, boys.
There's Josh Evans. The chip over the top. Brent Hamill. Now to McBreen. Here's this touches from Edgeworth. Brody Taylor. Takes on Verity. DG with smudge. Nathan Verity. He has stood up in this first half.
Yeah, he's been very good, hasn't he? He's been very good.
He's been on the fringes of Lambton's defence this year, but he's come into the starting side this afternoon and shone in a big way.
Because Brent Hamill's a very, very good player, and Hamill's got past him once or twice. However, Verity's done very well. Just talking about player of the day, the groundsman, this ground a few weeks ago was in awful condition, but it's a lot better. The grounds people have done a tremendous job. All their volunteers and...
It's Bizarri, a piece of that. Michael Sessions. Up to Griffiths.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Smudge.
It was nearly unplayable 3 weeks ago. So
what we were talking about, it was almost like a bunker at a golf course, wasn't it?
It was, and you know that text Millsy sent us earlier today is just a reflection of how proud he is of all of his club and the people that are involved. 35 odd people out here working to make this, and let's be honest, it's not perfect. You know, it's a bit bumpy, but before, if they didn't go ahead and pull the amount of people together that they did, it's probably unplayable by this point. So, you know, I think they've done a brilliant job.
It's Pat Wheeler doing up his shoelace in back play. So inside the final four before half time. Pat Wheeler. To Moriyasu. Lady Taylor, so free kick for Edgeworth.
Get round it, boys.
Nathan Verity. Intercepted by Brody Taylor. Ridge Marpu and then Ben Hay. Gets it clear. Brody Taylor lays it off for Pasquale and then McBreen. That's a very, very nice touch. And Hamill goes up and back for Aiden Bryce. Dumps it into Moriyasu. They've contained him well this afternoon, haven't they, the Lambton defence? Here you go, Moriyasu. Griffiths bumped to ground. Both sides' defence have been excellent this afternoon. Mentioned Edgeworth, they've only conceded six goals in their 11 matches. Lambton, on the other hand, have conceded 16. So very, very strong at the back from Lambton this afternoon.
You can see that challenge there. It's a little bit how you're going. Look, you mentioned before how some of the clearances, particularly from Edgeworth, have been a bit, just all over the place and spraying it. It's just what happens when you're under pressure, and that's the amount of pressure they've been putting on. Look at the Lambton defence coming in. They've got 6 guys immediately in behind the ball, and that goes to show their commitment as well.
Dylan Holtz. Use this one back for Aiden Bryce, but it will sit in the turf. Deflection to Brodie Taylor. Just beats him over the line. You'd expect CT. Both sides will head into the break at 0-0.
Well, I mean, there's been a couple of opportunities at both ends, and don't forget we've still got a good, minute and a half, 2 minutes to go here at least.
I just want to ask you, is it psychologically, crucial for either of these two sides to win this afternoon going into next week? How much of an impact will it have?
Oh, it'll have a big impact because you just know you can get the job done against them. And if you go in with a win, you go away with a win, you have that different level at training. It just everything about your week is a little bit different. And players love that feeling of victory, especially when you're facing them again.
Especially if Lambton win and they make it 2 out of 2 this season against the Eagles. That would be a big psychological boost. That will be on Bar TV next weekend, the FFA Cup.
Absolutely, and your confidence, Lambton, if you've beaten the premiers and you've done it a couple of times and you're on your charge to the semi-finals and then finals as well. But more importantly to the premiership.
There's Odell with a scuffed clearance. Pops back up for Moriyasu. Maybe a chance before the break. The Japanese sensation. He goes to Hamill. He gets in front of Verity. Hamill squares it up. And McBreen. Well, there hasn't been a better chance in the opening half than that one there. And McBreen just put it to the right, high and wide.
And if you want someone on the end of this cross, it's him. You look at him, McBreen. He's just outside the penalty spot. Just lurking, gets himself available free, and that header, he'll want that one back, and we wouldn't miss that one twice, but...
We're into stoppage time now. What a blow that would have been for the Jaffas right on half-time. Swancott. Verity. Towards Ryan Griffiths. The Wheelhouse and Taylor come together. Remington with a bump from Taylor. I like the way that this match has been refereed this afternoon. He hasn't blown his whistle more than he's needed to, Stephen Laurie.
No, and he seems to be very calm in his own nature, which does have an impact on the players. If players can sense a referee, if he's...
We mentioned a good young referee as we see Lambton with a free kick here just before the break. He refereed the Foxtel National Youth League Grand Final for the last A-League season, the 2016-17 season. Melbourne City winning that one with a last-minute penalty against Sydney FC.
What I'd
that
liked
takes some guts as well, the blow a penalty in the last minute of a grand final.
Well, yeah, you've got to call it as you see it. But what I've been impressed about is his positioning on the park. We don't talk about that with referees too often.
Here's Brent Hamill. It's on the outside of Verity, but Stephen Laurie says that will do for the opening half here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. And Lambton probably had the better of the opening 20 minutes. Then Edgeworth came back at them. Daniel McBreen with a chance right before the break. But apart from that, it's been very much an arm wrestle here. Half-time at Jack McLaughlin Oval. It's Edgeworth 0, Lambton 0, and CT. Just before we head down to Smudge, your thoughts on the opening 45?
Look, I think this game has been, everything has been built up to be. We've got two sides that are really very, very close in their formation, and it's just been, as you said, an arm wrestle, and I think that's the best way to describe it. Had some chances either way, and that one from McBreen at the end could have been a real blow for Lambton. So, yeah, that's probably about it. It's been an arm wrestle.
All right, we'll go down to Damien Smith. He's with Daniel McBreen.
Thanks, boys.
I've got Daniel McBreen, Edgeworth striker. Macca, very tight first half, like a game of chess. What are your thoughts, and what's the message at half-time, do you think, from Damien Zane?
Yeah, look, I think we've both had our moments in the game, and both teams are sort of nullifying each other a bit. I think we'll try to get them into wide areas, get behind them in wide areas, because they're very narrow across the centre, and there's a lot of bodies in, so it's making it very difficult, especially in the pitch that's a bit wobbly, so we'll try to get into wide areas, try and get in behind and get closer to number 2.
Just quickly, just on the pitch, obviously Edgeworth's done a lot of work. It looks pretty good from the sideline, but still a bit bumpy.
Oh, look, yeah, it's still wobbly. You can't argue that, but it's come a long way in 3 weeks, and hopefully it'll just keep getting better.
Mate, thanks for your time and good luck for the rest of the half. Thanks, mate.
Thanks to Daniel McBrain there for the chat. Right on half time, we'll be back in 10 minutes' time here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. We're back for the second half at Jack McLaughlin Oval. Locked up at 0-0 at the break. Both sides creating a few chances, but no golden ones. Daniel McBreen had a good one before the break, and that was about all of note. Half-time at the other matches. Hamilton Olympic 2-0 against Adamstown. The goals from Scott Smith and Reece Cooper. We are underway. Daniel McBreen back to Pasquale and Pat Wheeler. We'll come back to those scores in just a sec. But do you see either side breaking through in the second half? They've been very stout in defence of the Eagles and the Jaffas in the opening 45 as Bazari just caught offside.
Yeah, I think there'll be a goal here. We had some really good opportunities in the first half. That one particularly for McBreen, we had the wheelhouse, where he had Joby just picked the ball up right just on the edge of the 6 or thereabouts and just got away in a minute. That was a great opportunity as well. I think we will have a breakthrough here.
I'm unsure about that. It's a game of chess at the moment. I think substitutions will be a key for me.
Moriarty tries to throw this one through. We might even discuss this later on in the match, but is it a match that you go all out trying to win at the back end of its level? Is it one of those matches, or are you happy with a point going into next weekend?
Well, for me, you go and win. You go to win, and you win every week. I don't see any good reason playing for a draw for a point. You need to pick up 3 points where possible, and you just don't want to expose yourself at the back by doing it. Playing a 5-3-2 allows that attacking nature.
I'd probably say if it is a draw this afternoon, it's probably more of a psychological boost for the Jaffas, because it means they haven't been beaten by Edgeworth this year. So they'll probably come out of it potentially a little happier.
The other thing, they play each other next week in the FFA Cup, so it'll give them some confidence going next week at Lake Macquarie. However, the surface next week's totally different to this, so yeah, that's going to be another tight game. And both teams desperate to get to the round of 32 for FFA Cup.
Well, we mentioned both these two outfits. When they have scored first this season, they haven't lost. Edgeworth are 6-0-0. 6 wins, no draws, no losses. Lambton are 4-1-0, so 4 wins and a draw. That one was against Broadmeadow Magic, that draw in round 6. So scores at the other grounds, we had Hamilton with Reece Cooper and Scott Smith 2-0 over Adamstown. Maitland, Matt Thompson with the goal, and Reen Ferguson the goal for Charlestown. Here's Kigo Moriarty. Whips one in. This time Swancott is there for the punch. He read that one. Moriarty probably didn't get it right in the top corner, as he so often does.
I'll tell you what he did do, though. He had a lot of power on it. Swancott was taking no chances there. He didn't want to try and catch it.
And he got it
punch it out.
He got it on target. Here comes the first card of the afternoon. Stephen Laurie hands it out to Dylan Holtz.
He's been good, Laurie, today, for my liking. And also at Magic, Charlie Cox, 1-0. He scored right on the bell.
And a
up
good
at Western
goal as well from our source up there.
From our source up there, just outside the box, right-hand corner, low drive. For more reports.
Joe Wheelhouse. Evans with the clearance, and it is crucial that Magic hold on to that advantage, because if they don't, even a draw, they'll be 8 points outside the 4 based on the score at Hamilton at the moment. Joe Wheelhouse, and 8 points to pull back over the final 8 matches will be very tough. Luke Remington.
It's good to see Remington back in form. He did well in a bit of a cameo last week until he got injured. He's had a pretty solid game that first half.
We mentioned a double last weekend for Lambton against Hamilton in the second half, in that strange second half where the Jaffas went through a period of goals, really. It was raining goals for 10 minutes. Pat Brown's quick free kick turning that one around. Don Bazari for Pat Wheeler. It's been brilliant for Edgeworth at the back this season, as has that man, Josh Evans. Similarly, Nate Cavalier and Aidan Bryce.
They've only conceded 6 goals in 10 games, Bart, or 10 and a half games.
And I was saying to CT, Smudge, at half, just as you went down to interview Daniel McBreen, is Lambton's defence this afternoon has been so stout. And compared to their scoreline, they've probably been better than their defensive record this year suggests. They've conceded 16 in.
And part of the reason we talk about the 5-3-2 or the 3-5-2, they've been playing a 3-4-3. So therefore, you can get caught in wide areas. But playing with a 5 at the back, you can come back and sort of lock the right and left midfield areas up. And so there's reassurance and there's flexibility. I keep going back to flexibility, and that's where I think today they've looked very solid at the back.
I totally agree with that. The only place that it falls down is if you're left and right fullbacks, if you call them that, both get high at the same time. And that's where you can get exposed with 3 at the back. But other than that, I think that's been a real key for them.
And like you said, one can go forward, one just sits in. So you're playing with the back four. So that's what we're talking about, the flexibility in the system.
Mentioned that word pendulum before. They can tuck right in and sweep if they have to. So that's the benefit of it. Talk about benefits. Good mate of mine, Smudge, Jim Armstrong. He's sitting at home watching the coverage at the moment. He tries to ring me so my phone would ring, not think it wouldn't be on silent so he could pick himself up. What sort of mate does that?
He's a smart man, isn't he, Jim Armstrong? A good fellow, Jim Armstrong.
He's probably one of the smartest humans I've come across, but who would do that to you, mate? Anyway, what goes around comes around, Smudge, as you know.
Yeah, that's true. I'm one of your mates, mate. I'm pretty smart, so me and Jimmy, 2 of your smart mates.
That's right.
Ben Hay goes back to find Joe Wheelhouse. And now Liam O'Dell just inside his own half. Ridge Marpu, he came on midway through the first half.
Well defended by Don Bazzari. That's why I picked him in my sidebar.
Now Nathan Verity, too, was very good in the first half. He bumps away from Brodie Taylor. He surges down the middle. And now Pat Wheeler. And that's the versatility, I should say, of Edgeworth. Lockie Pasquale dropping back there for Pat Wheeler. Griffiths to Griffiths and Remington. He's on the score sheet again for Lambton. That's 3 in a week for Luke Remington, and they find a way to breach the Great Wall of Edgeworth.
We'll get another look at that.
Brother to Remington.
It's backyard combinations, isn't it?
It is. We spoke about that before the game, didn't we, TT? Great header across from Joel Griffiths to spot Remington for a nice. That's his 3rd goal in 2 weeks.
That was beautiful from Lambton. Joel Griffiths.
What a header from Joel Griffiths.
He
could have went on goal, but he just cut it straight back.
It's in top order. And you know what? One glance, see your brother, pick him out, and he does the rest.
So Lambton, they have managed. Well, they've broken. So Edgeworth, the ball kid has copped it in the head here.
The Falcon.
I hope he's all right.
He did well. He sucked it up and just got on with the game, didn't he?
He's all right. Now, Edgeworth have conceded 7 this year. Lambton have almost scored half of those. They've scored 3 against Edgeworth this season. 3 of those 7. So they know how to get through this Edgeworth brick wall. Can Edgeworth break through Lambton? They managed to do so through Kigo Moriyasu in round 2.
Great ball.
They finished stronger that evening. Catch-up match. Moriyasu back for Aiden Bryce now. And Bryce takes on Ben Hay. Beats him for pace, wins a corner.
We spoke about whether there's going to be goals in this, and just had the feeling that it might. But I don't think we're done yet. I don't think we're done.
Yeah, I agree with that now.
I don't
think we're done now. I thought it was going to be just a game of chess played out, but that's really opened up. And you know what? Edgeworth will push forward and go for the equaliser, no doubt.
Here's Bazzari, a couple of steps, curls it in. McBreen is there. McBreen, the other experienced player on the park for Edgeworth. Evans curling it in. Ben Hay away. Evans, he's rocketed that into the backside of Holtz. He had nowhere to go. Ridge Marpu. Ryan Griffiths. Joel Griffiths.
Great ball.
The assist for Luke Remington just a moment ago.
I'm really liking the balance of the Lambton side. I've seen Lambton a few times this year, and to me, this is the most balanced they look.
Nathan Verity sums up the situation. Back for Luke Remington. Who quickly, Luke Remington, he's gone to 5 goals this season, 3 in the last week.
Yeah, Pasco said he's sort of played with a few injuries throughout the course of the first round. He was a bit in and out of form, But he really showed his wear last week. He did really well last week to score 2 goals, and today he's been tremendous for me. He's been everywhere.
NPL Player of the Year in 2015, Luke Remington. And he was a little bit injury-prone last season. He has been a little this season, but shows his class again this afternoon. Formerly with the Jets youth system. And there's the free kick going the way of the Jaffas.
He's a very good player, Luke.
Breen and Sessions coming there together. There's two big, strong guys just giving each other a little hand tap, saying it's all right. I guess they don't want to mess with each other either. Boys, you were saying, you're talking about being smart, smudging. And I know you guys love your statistics.
Griffiths, Remington's in again here, and Cavalier with a great save. To deny him a second in as many minutes as Ridge Marpu. And Moriarty collide. And it would have been a 2-0 lead again. We mentioned Lambton, they don't lose when they score first, and Ben Hay, whoa, that's the big Perth, CT, that's you on the driving range, isn't it? That shot from Ben Hay, I know he was offside, but gee, blaze.
CT's drives aren't going that far.
I was going to say that's straighter than mine too.
It's Pat Wheeler, back to Nate Cavalier. And that ball's resting about where that streaker was jumping the fence in round 1.
To be honest, Edgeworth just looking a little bit disjointed in defence. Just at the moment, we mentioned in the first half, a few times Lambton got him behind.
Here's Bazzari. Probably started the second as they did the first. Lambton, a bit more control, but Edgeworth came at them late on in the half. Maybe that chance for McBrain. We'll look back on that one as a huge moment in this one. Josh Evans chips it to that man, McBrain. Powerful header across the face
Great
of goal.
ball.
And now Remington. He's got Ryan Griffiths. He tries to thread it through for him. It's too heavy.
For me, Ryan Griffiths done very well today. He's held the ball up well. He's brought players into play. He's worked very hard as well. On a difficult pitch as well. A little bit of a bumpy pitch, so...
You often see that when players come into a team for the first time, don't you? Especially players of note, they really make their presence felt. And he's definitely done that today.
Free kick goes against Don Bazzari there. Yeah, beautiful afternoon after an overcast start to the day.
So, boys, I mentioned, about being smart with your stats, etc. I needed a password 8 characters long. So
with a capital and a number?
Nah, not really. I just 8 characters, so I picked Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. You can't see these boys, but they're trying not to laugh.
Joel Griffiths looks for his brother Ryan, and now Pasquale. The funny thing is, CT, you've actually gotten written there on your phone. So you haven't remembered it very well.
Because it was a crap joke, that's why.
As here's Brody
great
Taylor
ball, great
over
run.
the top. Hamill. There is Swancott. He
did well, Swancott, just to bump him off his track.
Bren Hamill sizes up the situation into Moriarty. Brody Taylor was arriving late at the back post. Remington again here. He had some ankle issues.
Let's see if we can get another look at that.
Yeah,
That didn't
Bryce
look
just
good.
got him.
Let's see how he gets up.
There it is.
He's got one of those ones that may jog it out and hurt him later.
I have noticed since Lambton scored, they've definitely lifted the tempo, Edgeworth. So has Lambton, actually.
The wind just died down. It was from the south behind Lambton in the first half. Edgeworth now in the second. It's dropped about 5 kilometres. It was about 15 kilometres an hour in the first. Now only about 10. So as much of an impact the breeze having on the second half.
Such a good target man, McBreen. Great layoff to Moriarty.
Moriarty now for Aiden Bryce. He's pushed up. Brody Taylor. Rich Marpu is there. Lambton again. Solid at the back.
Very deep part. They're right on the 18-yard box. I think they need to push out a little bit. Look at the space in midfield here for Edgeworth.
Here's Evans. Pulling it in, and McBrain backtracks. Taylor to McBrain. McBrain!
Oh, Swancott!
What a save there from Brad Swancott. McBreen, he's turn 1-2, picks a spot and just absolutely thumps it home. Most people think that was goalwood.
Brilliant save from Brad Swancott. Worth every cent. Diving save to his left. Took it on himself, Daniel McBrain. And it almost paid off. It's Joel Griffiths. Now Wheelhouse. Actually, the wind has dropped. It may have picked up again as Ridge Marpu. We're here through the effects. Ridge Marpu gets bumped to ground twice. Half an hour to go. 60 minutes gone.
He's just like a little bull, isn't he, Ridge Marpu? Strong, strength. He can pass through people. Pace to burn. And great in one-on-one situations.
So half an hour to go. Edgeworth. And they find a goal to get themselves back into this one. This here is Ryan Griffiths. Luke Remington with the goal if you've just joined us. Teed up by Ryan Griffiths to Joel Griffiths, who teed up Remington. And now it is Ryan Griffiths. Onto Wheelhouse. Steps away from Dylan Holtz. And Wheelhouse takes them on, burns them into the box, and almost finds Luke Remington again. Azari's able to clear it away. Remington whipping it in. Evans.
Wheelhouse has been superb again today. Playing in the more advanced role in the first half. Now since there's been an injury to Nathan Morris, Kandarowski had to drop back into the defence, and Wheelhouse dropped further deeper, just sitting in front of the back three. But he's been superb.
Really,
minimal turnover rate for Joe Wheelhouse.
Nathan Verity.
He's certainly playing more advanced than what Kandarowski has been, generally speaking.
Brody Taylor. Kieran Sanders just being readied on the bench for Edgeworth. So we'll see if the English import from Oxford in the UK can have an impact this afternoon. There's McBrain. Now to Moriasu. McBrain, well blocked.
Great.
3 Jaffas players there.
Great defence.
Now
Michael Sessions.
Advantage for the Jaffas. Evans.
Oh, Evans.
Just nods it back to Cavalier.
That was quality by Evans.
Yeah, it was. And you're giving the nod, and I totally agree. Just totally composed under a fair bit of pressure there.
Pressure by Ryan Griffiths. Just notice Griffiths just checked his running a little bit.
He's just up to that class, Smudge. He just, there was no panic about it. He had it under control. He just did what he had to do.
And Edgeworth, if they are not beaten this afternoon, it will be the biggest undefeated record under Damien Zane. Their longest streak before this one was 8 wins in a row last season. So they're up to 8 matches unbeaten this year. One more and they will take it to a new level, but they're down at the moment. Verity rolling it back. It was a bit heavy for Joel Griffiths. Unlike the ball from Ryan about 10 minutes ago. Ridge Marpu. It's high, and Cavalier with the punch. He opted to punch and not grab. Pluck it out of the air. Ben Hay tries his luck from distance. Into sun in his eyes. Decision to punch from Cavalier. Gary Borrowdale with the expertise there as Wheelhouse.
God, Remington's been good today.
Yeah, I think he's been great all season. Yeah, he just does a lot of little things right, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's been busy. See Ridge come out nice and wide, give himself some room, one-on-one. Look at the spacing behind.
Liam Odell rolling it in again. This time Cavaliers there with the fist again. Here's Verity. A couple of touches and then a little trickle over the sideline for an Edgeworth throw. Really, compared to last season, Edgeworth have been probably better defensively than they were last season. But in attack, they haven't been quite as potent. They're averaging about 3 goals a match last year. This season, they've only scored 20 in their 11 matches. Just haven't totally clicked in the front third this year. Griffiths. Pat Wheeler in the corner. Do you know why that would be, CT, Edgeworth in front of goal? Do you think sides have, just tightened up a little bit more defensively when they take on Edgeworth?
Yeah, well, what happens is when you're playing
Rich
against...
Marpu, well defended.
When you're playing against the top sides, you really concentrate on defence because you know that's where they're going to spend a lot of time hanging around there at your place, isn't it? And they'll just keep coming at you. So you have to be mentally prepared for a big defensive game.
Verity into Remington again. A touch. And it's Pat Wheeler with the final touch over the goal line.
Cavalier done tremendous there to close the ball. Talking to Zane throughout the course, he said his front third, they just haven't clicked as he'd like it. So obviously that's a work in progress, and they'll get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, no doubt. But that's just also a combination of other teams we were just talking about, really lifting to an expectation of what's coming at you on a day when you've got people like McBreen and Sanders running at you. You just have to be mentally prepared for that.
Will Bauer on the bench there. Edgeworth attackers. Still with the jacket on, so he may be a little while away from action this afternoon. He's only got the 4 substitutions, so you'd expect he will 4 bench players this afternoon. Darren McLaughlin, Sanders and Bauer, as well as Josh Lowe, the backup keeper. Is bizarre. That's a nice touch. and now McBreen pushes Ridge Marpu away.
McBreen's never had to run that quick.
I think even Warren Mills over in Los Angeles will be chuckling over that. Boys.
Ridge Marpu into McBreen, and now Cavalier. Speaking of the defensive difference in the sides, Edgeworth have kept 6 clean sheets this year. Lambton have just kept 1. Brad Swancott has not kept a clean sheet this year. That's a surprise, isn't it, by the first half of the season? It was Daniel March in goals in that 4-0 win against Lakes in round 5.
Well, it is a bit of a surprise, to be honest. And you have a look at Brad Swancott. He was up towards the centre circle of the in the first half, and then he's pulled out that brilliant save a little while ago. So
McBreen coming off there, but he just realised he's not been substituted, and Moriyasu was substituted. So
there you go, Kigo Moriyasu off.
He probably wanted to come off.
And Sanders coming on.
He's only been back a few days from Hong Kong.
Well, we'll find out what Kieran Sanders has got around the grounds. Hamilton 2, Adamstown 0. Reece Cooper, Scott Smith with the goals. Maitland 1, Charlestown 1. Matt Thompson for Maitland. Reen Ferguson for Charlestown. And Charlie Cox with the goal for Broadmeadow Magic. They lead Western 1-0 at Bear Park. Sanders holds off Wheelhouse. It's Aiden Bryce in back play, getting slowly to his feet.
I'm not sure what happened between these two. They've collided, I think. Look at them.
Remington and Bryce coming off a little worse for wear. You can see him just limping there off screen. There's Pasquale. Just loops one in, and up goes Kantorowski. He's done a lot of work off the ball, hasn't he, this afternoon, Michael Kantorowski?
He's been big today. He's had a really good game, big influence on Lambton Jaffas this afternoon.
Evans just thought that didn't have as much.
He was superb playing in that deep role before Nathan Morris went off and he had to go back in the back line. He was one of the best.
So Lambton with another free kick. I appreciate that. Just takes a little bit more off the clock.
What he did do there, Smudge, is he's when he was playing that role, he's just released Wheelhouse, is what it looks like to me, because he came in, played that holding type role, midfield in front of the back three, and then that just allows Wheelhouse to get himself into the game. And he is one of the better ball players that you're going to come across and create all sorts of havoc for Edgeworth's defence.
Oh, great ball.
Here's Verity again. Can he find the pass? Brent Hamill is there.
Great ball again by Ryan Griffith.
We're getting towards that part of the day, boys, where we're looking at the Harry Schnitzel play of the day.
Love me, Harry's.
I'd maybe say Brad Swancott save on McBreen at the moment.
Well, it's certainly a game saver for them, or a goal saver. That's one. We've got my mate Jim Armstrong trying to set me up at home with his ringing the phone while we're here, Bart. Smudge.
Evans doesn't win the header there. Surprise as Wheelhouse tracks it down inside the line.
Just got some space here.
Now for Marpu.
I need to back him up.
Just holding off Holtz, takes him on, squares it up. Does it sit for Griffiths? It deflects. Ryan Griffiths scrambles it across the line. And in his first match in the yellow of the Lambton Jaffas, Ryan Griffiths makes it 2-0 to Lambton.
And I was just going to say, they just stayed off Ridge Marpu. They gave him a little bit of space to get him beyond across the ball. Great finish again by Ryan Griffiths under enormous pressure.
Well, let's have another look at this. He's been knocked up in the process.
Brothers make you look bad.
Yeah, Dylan Holtz has kept him on side.
And he's a little bit, how are you going at the moment, boys? I'm not sure. Smudge, you're the physio. How's that looking to you? You normally talk about players running, putting weight through their injury.
This looks like he's got a sore leg.
Saw a bit of claret there. I don't know if it was just a scrape or what the story
Yeah, I
was.
think Cavalier came and collected him as he's poked the ball past him. I really like the balance of Lambton at the moment. Like I said, they've been playing 3-4-3. I'm really loving the 3-5-2 shape.
Is there a way back here for Edgeworth as Sanders to knock from Sessions? And this is the benefit now with the 2-0 lead, Lambton. Just sit a little bit deeper, shore up that defence. As here's a bit of push and shove between Pasquale and Griffiths.
I like to give a lot of credit to Michael Sessions. He's been superb today as well.
He has been good. There's been some good performers out here today, and I've really liked the way that Kandarovski's gone. Even when, as you say, Smudge, he goes back into the back line, he's been rock solid there.
I totally agree. I think he's been superb.
I think, you know, the player of the match this afternoon, the scoreline stays the way it is, really has to go to a Lambton defender, doesn't it? They've been almost impenetrable. It really was only Daniel McBrain that chance right on half time as McBrain squares it up to Holtz.
In saying that, Joe Wellhouse has been absolutely superb.
Yeah.
Remington, for me, when you talk about defence, the whole structure, like from the front to the back, has worked.
Correct.
Not just the back three, the whole structure has been superb.
That's a key to a winning and successful team, is your ability to defend as a unit, you know, and that's the difference. What you mean by that is you're exactly right. McBrain's very good at it for Edgeworth. You start at the top and everything in behind it.
Yep.
Well, isn't it a stark contrast to last season? Lambton were thumped 5-0 a year on, and they lead 2-0.
Still 20 minutes to go, Bart. There's a long way to go.
There is, and I've got the feeling there's more goals in this, boys. I don't know.
Do you see Edgeworth breaking down this Lambton back line?
Look, I can't. Nothing.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's been a tight game and there's been opportunities. I just feel like the game, it's moving quickly. There's lots of turnovers, so that creates lots of opportunities. So I can see there's goals that could have come from either end.
Well, Lambton, they haven't been kept scoreless this season. Edgeworth have been kept scoreless once here at Jack McLaughlin Oval against Maitland in round 5. They've just been so strong up front of the Jaffas. We mentioned 3 years since they last won here at Jack McLaughlin Oval, and it was 2-1 the scoreline, so we're set up for another 2-1 if Edgeworth grab one back.
Mentioned like Brad Swancott earlier, like obviously I've known him well for quite a while, but just as I said before, the look in his eye before the game was something you don't see out of Swan too often. Like, you could just see he was completely focused and ready to play. That's the way you want your players to be looking. It's that determined look.
Huge before next weekend as well, the way Lambton have defended this afternoon. Ridge Marpu. For Cavalier.
They're very deep here, Lambton. They're virtually nearly just outside their 18-yard box, with Cavalier having the ball on his 18-yard box. They just need to be careful. They need to push up, tighten the midfield up a bit. Remington's in here.
Remington, we've got the ball has across the line.
Nice try, buddy.
That's what we're saying. I think it's going to be tough for Edgeworth to get that first goal with this Lambton side dropping a little deeper. But once they get their first one, that's the momentum and carry through and really cause some headaches. Griffiths to his brother now.
you know the other thing that's really impressed me? Ryan Griffiths' defensive work. He's worked tirelessly. He's worked very hard, especially in defence.
You have to say he does look fit enough to be able to do that.
Ben Hay surges through the middle, goes wide to Luke Remington. Keeps it inside the line, and now Griffiths. Well, that would have sealed it if he was able to rise up and put that one in.
Ben Hayes, another one, is very elusive. He was very impressive last week. That's why I tipped him in my side or picked him as a utility. He can play in the back line, he can play in the front line, play in the midfield. He can get past one-on-one. He's a very good player.
Well, that ball was pinpoint that he put into Wheelhouse in the first half for a great opportunity.
Brody Taylor to McBrain. 8 goals conceded by Edgeworth this year. 4 have been scored by Lambton now. Bryce, here's McBrain. Swancott again. And then with the regather. Huge from Brad Swancott. That's 2 massive saves.
Isn't that the ability of Brad Swancott to put himself out there like that?
Great header by McBrain going across goal, but Swancott.
He has wound back the years, hasn't he, this afternoon?
It'll take him to about 42 then.
Griffiths. And now Bryce just takes it off Ryan Griffiths. But Edgeworth seemed to have some confidence after coming so close there.
But you know what? I think Swancott heard that you're complaining that he hasn't had a clean sheet for the year.
I wasn't complaining. I was just letting you know of the stats.
Oh, okay.
Here's Aiden Bryce.
That's 2 crucial saves Swancott's made.
Dylan Holtz.
Which can change the game.
Now looks to thread it through for Sanders. Wheelhouse just there with the boot. Hamilton leads 3-0 now at Adamstown. Against Adamstown, I should say. 1-1 Maitland and Charlestown. And the score from Western is 2-1 to Broadmeadow Magic. A couple of quick goals. Nathan Verity now. Back for Wheelhouse. Maybe that was the moment for Edgeworth. Haven't had too many chances this afternoon.
Yeah, see, with Lambton dropping a little bit deeper, I know you said they can clog the back line on the 18-yard box, but it allows space in the midfield, and therefore, with the movement that Edgeworth midfielders do, they can actually ping the 1-2s and create a few little holes in there, which they've caused.
The ball in and the header from McBrain. It's a great header.
To regather as well. That was the crucial moment. Now he leaves, doesn't regather that. McBrain taps it home.
Now, one of the hardest saves you're going to make is one immediately to your left or right as a keeper, and Swancott did exactly that.
Sessions goes low. I'm not quite sure what he's attempting there. It's Hamill. Just pumps it up towards Sanders. Odell's header is back over the top. And Ridge Marpu away from goal. And Edgeworth throw. Sense the crowd trying to get behind Edgeworth here, but they're going to need to find a goal. Price to Pasquale.
Looks like Pat Brown's warming up for this on the sideline.
Scored 2 against Edgeworth. There he is. Scored 2 against Edgeworth in round 2. Pat Brown.
Look, you know you've got depth in your squad if you can bring players like Pat Brown onto the park at this stage of the game. And he's been in great form.
Just on Luke Remington, I think he's been superb today. He was good last week. I know we got Lambton's player, and he was unlucky. You know, he's in our top 3 probably players, Bart, from Premier Sports Player of the match. But yeah, he was superb again today. He's really starting to get some fine form from Lambton.
Clearance away from Ben Hay.
So just looking at that change, Ryan Griffiths going to drop back into that sort of number 10 role where Remington was playing, and Pat Brown will push up forward with the play with Joel.
Wheelhouse rises highest, and Ben Hay now steps inside a couple. Pat Wheeler should get there in front of Griffiths. Goes to Bizarri. That's a neat back heel to Wheeler. He goes infield for Holtz.
Again, Lambton's a bit too deep for my liking. A lot of space in midfield.
Sanders. While Edgeworth have been down 2-0. They've been very good this afternoon. This is 2 quality sides going at it.
Yeah, I think these 2 sides are the teams to beat. Oh, Sanders.
Sanders. pulling it in. And last season, Edgeworth, they won the minor premiership, but they couldn't beat Hamilton the whole season. So maybe Lambton
No one could.
is their Hamilton this year. The only side that beat Edgeworth. Pasquale as a sniper on the hill, and he goes to ground.
Again,
Is there a handball from Griffiths?
Again,
Yes.
Lambton's dropping deeper and deeper and deeper, creating a lot of space for Edgeworth in the midfield. Whilst Pascal probably just trying to push him up. However, he might be comfortable him sitting on the 18-yard box because, you know, it is a little bit tight around there. However, it creates space for the Edgeworth midfielders.
So Sanders put the ball on a platter. Well, it's under Kandarovski's leg. He's got caught, and Pat Brown brings it away for the Jaffas. Now Griffiths does an about face and then finds Ryan Griffiths, who chips it forward for Pat Brown. He's got some strapping on that left knee. He bumps away from Pat Wheeler, who comes back at him. He's crawling for a minute then, and Brodie Taylor over the sideline. 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes to go now for Edgeworth to find a couple of goals. Pat Brown now to Verity. Lambton can seal it with another one. Wheelhouse. This time not on a string. And he's straight to Cavalier. He goes along with the breeze behind him. Evans. Smarpoo gets a little bit of treatment. The free kick. And the pitch has held up very well, hasn't it?
Yeah, considering we've had a little bit of rain overnight, they've done a fair bit of work to it. Full credit for Edgeworth trying to get the pitch back up to scratch. Still got a little bit to go.
Absolutely. I mean, the pitch this morning when I was out here with the Arnett's program, boys, this morning, had a walk, and I was a little bit unsure about how it would handle the matches on the through the day, through the lower grades. But it's just come up better than you'd expect.
So Aaron McLaughlin onto the park and Brent Hamill off. They rise. Aidan Bryce slotted back in. McBrain. And you may have heard through the effects mic the cheering. That was from the other ground here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. Edgeworth in the all age have scored. So we'll see if the NPL side can do similar.
Did go for a wander down there earlier, Bart, before the start of this game, and there weren't many in numbers, but they were very passionate.
And again, Lambton quite deep here.
McBrain now towards McLaughlin. Odell with a sliding tackle. Here's Sanders. Sizes it up, and Verity away again. And here is Bryce in again. McBrain, I thought a handball, and so did Stephen Laurie.
Gee, it's all happening here. This, when you're saying Smudge is sitting deep, totally agree, but that's just it's a natural tendency when you're in front and there's 10, 12 to go. That's kind of what you tend to do.
Like Pasco might like the setup like that. So, as you know, Edgeworth, they make forward runs. So you don't want space in behind. So you might want to set deep. However, that allows Edgeworth midfield to have a lot of space, a lot of room to create the 2v1 situation. So
the other
it's a catch-22, yeah.
The other thought behind that is, what put your 2 goals in front? Keep doing that, and don't change that shape. But from a player, from a mental point of view, specifically, it just it's hard to do anything other than just kind of protect your home.
Ben Hayes steps away from Dylan Holtz. Sessions keeps it towards Brown. Cavalier read it again.
And as we're about to look across the screen, you'll see that they're more evenly balanced throughout the pitch, which is a good sign.
So Lambton, they're just less than 7 minutes away from ending Edgeworth's 14-match unbeaten run here at Jack McLaughlin Oval.
Time.
And make it, for them, 10 matches unbeaten away from Arthur Eden Oval.
Yeah, for me, I've been impressed with Lambton today. I've seen them a few times this year, and I think this is the most balanced side they've had all year. I love their shape. I've said it about 5 times. I keep repeating myself. The 5-3-2. And it's worked very well. They've got good plays in good areas.
And the cherry on top, you'd probably have to say, is Ryan Griffiths coming into the side.
And the thing is, he could have come in and just sort of lounged around a little bit, but he's worked pretty hard today, especially in defence.
So this is not looking good for Josh Evans now. He's gone to ground. See if we do have it on replay, but he fell awkwardly.
And again, look where Lambton's setting up on the 18-yard box. It must be a tactical ploy, I think.
Not sure about that one.
So it's still 2-1 out at Western. Magic 2, Western 1.
Great shots there across the bench. You see the great Lindsley.
Will Bauer about to come on for Edgeworth.
Sorry, I was just going to say Rod Lindsay in shot there. He's been a great man for Edgeworth with his conditioning work that he does with the players. Been doing it for years. Good offsider for Damien Zane also.
Just grabbing his neck there, Josh Evans.
Yeah, he felt awkwardly, didn't he? He sort of twisted as he fell.
There's the crowd in here today, in their numbers.
So, guys, we've got the thing about Premier Sports Supply Man of the Match. What have we thought?
I'm thinking Michael Kantorowski at the back.
Yeah, I think Michael Kantorowski's been tremendous.
Totally agree. You know
He's
what?
done a lot of work that no one really has noticed. The back there is Pasquale. He's locked that defence in place.
Sessions has been solid
Sessions.
again. You know what? The whole team's been very good.
Yeah, Sessions.
Pasquale. I'm thinking player of the day, Brad Swancott, for his 2 big saves.
I think we're all on the same page here.
For once, we're all on the same page. That's good, isn't it?
Seems to be rare lately.
Here's Brad Swancott.
Oh!
We got a bit of a clip. As that ball went up, I was thinking, Brad Swancott, please do not make a hash of this.
Green sort of clipped him a bit. They're good mates off the park. Played together at the Breakers.
So around the grounds, Hamilton 3, Adamstown 0, Maitland 1, Charlestown 1, Magic 2, Western 1, and 2-0 here, Lambton. Through Luke Remington and Ryan Griffiths.
So another change, Bart. Brody Taylor.
One of the big keys for me, boys, in this game is, Smudge, you mentioned Wellhouse, how good he's been. And I agree with that. And I think the reason he's been good is because Kantorowski's allowed him to be free. And that, if you had to put anything specific about the game for me, why Lambton have just had the edge, that'd be it. Wheelhouse been superb again.
Oh, superb. Wellhouse has been brilliant, I think.
Really has.
I think Kantorowski just shades Wellhouse. Just shades him.
And why? Because he's done what Wheelhouse has done. When he was playing in the middle of the park, he's held that anchoring role, steered the players around, and then now in defence, he's been really solid in keeping them together under huge pressure from McBreen.
There's McBreen wide to Bryce. Michael Sessions charging after it. Reminder, next weekend, the FFA Cup will have a break in the NPL. But these two sides will go at it again. 12 p.m. next Saturday. We on Bar TV. In the late Macquarie Regional Football
Well defended by
facility.
Verity there.
So those matches next Saturday, 10 a.m. Valentine and Broadmeadow Magic take on each other. 12 o'clock Lambton and Edgeworth. 2 p.m. Coffs City and Cardiff Tigers. What a story that would be if they could make it through. And the final match at 4 p.m. Joel Woods, Byron Bay. He was at Lambton last year. Take on Maitland. Big day of football next Saturday.
Yeah, Joel's been at Lambton, he's been at Maitland, he's been at Magic, and he's been at Edgeworth. And Lake Macquarie, actually.
Everywhere now as Bazzari chips it
And
forward.
more clubs than Brad Swancott.
Yeah, maybe.
And really, at the end of the day, you could say these two sides, we said about 20 minutes ago that both sides have been outstanding today, but Lambton have just been too good, really. I'm not saying Edgeworth have been poor at all. Lambton have just, you saw Edgeworth could be level at 2-2. Brad Swancott doesn't make 2 world-class saves.
Oh, exactly.
as Sessions makes an error. Can Daniel McBreen pounce on this one? He rounds Swancott. That should be a penalty. It is a penalty, and Brad Swancott just blots his copybook, but it doesn't take away from the brilliant saves he's already made. But Edgeworth maybe just with a glimmer of hope. The fire is not out just yet, Chris Turner.
Let's just have a look at this. Swancott's got two choices. One, McBreen goes around him. Is he going to score? Chances are he probably is. Swancott's...
I don't know. He's going off from goal
he was,
and wide.
He's
And on his right-hand side.
Yeah, he still has goals to hit. Will he? Maybe. Probably not the best choice from Swancott, but I don't know. It's a real tough one, you know, when you put on the spot like that.
And even Michael Sessions there giving the ball away. Sanders, he scored one this year. Oh! And, well, the script has been written for Brad Swancott. He goes the right way. And it was the right way.
I was going to say, he's been in fine form today, and I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if he saved it.
And the way Sanders trotted up to the ball, it was...
I think he was trying to rush through it because, you know, they're down 2-0, trying to get the goal in, get back.
You know, is McBreen going to score? Maybe not, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, and do you back yourself to pull off a penalty save?
He does.
Swancott does. You know, so maybe that's in his head. You know, pre-implant. I don't know.
Well, there's play of the day for sure. And here it was, Kieran Sanders just trotted up, and Swancott. It was a poor penalty. Let's not sugarcoat it. It wasn't a great penalty from Kieran Sanders. Dylan Holtz goes long down the line, and if there was any air in Edgeworth's tyres after the penalty, it has gone out right now. There's a hole.
Edgy tyres.
No, I'm saying if there's any air in the tyres, they start to. There's Ryan Griffiths.
So we all agree Bradley Swancott for Harry Stinty Player of the Day.
Absolutely.
Brad Swancott, outstanding. 3 massive saves. You could say Damien Zane's probably going to say post-match that, you know, three brilliant saves from Swancott. It could have been 3-2 the other way. So there he is.
And the Premier Sports Supply man of the match. We've spoken about Kandarowski. Are we happy in that direction, boys?
Yeah, I think Kandarowski just shades a number of players, actually. Lambton there's been some great performers.
Sanders. You could pretty much give man of the match to Swancott if you wanted to, but I think play of the day suits
he
what
caused
he
the
has
penalty.
done. Yes, yeah, exactly. You could say that.
Absolutely.
He just wanted the glory, caused the penalty, then saved the penalty.
And Sessions chips it over the line.
It would have created a very tense last couple of minutes.
Would have.
For sure.
As Stephen Laurie points to the bench.
Giles had another fine game today. He's worked very well with his brother.
Yeah, I think the combinations of those two have been great. And
Well balanced.
They're a good combination to look forward to as the second half of the season comes in, because you'll see just how well they actually know each other's play.
Dane Greentree coming on for about a minute, you would think. McBreen just to flick it towards Holtz. And here is Dane Greentree. Maybe a moment for him to go downfield as Ryan Griffiths goes base over apex.
Oh, gee, hit hard then. Boys, he just landed really hard.
He's all right, I think. He's just a bit winded.
Oh, wow, he fell heavy.
Whips it in Sessions. Back for Sanders!
Oh.
Swancott again just looked very comfortable.
And Ryan Griffiths,
And he knows
he's
Griffiths
in
is down. He's
a little bit of trouble. This could be huge going into next week.
Can you give your brother any fright? Oh, nothing's wrong with you, mate. Find your heart.
We'll just go around the grounds at the moment. We've got 3-0 Olympic over Adamstown, 1-1 Maitland and Charlestown, and 2-1 at Western. Magic leading in that one. Brad Swancott, boys are going to head down have a chat to both Brad Swancott and Michael Kantorowski post-match. Will this be the last rights of the match? Stephen Laurie. Not to his mouth yet as Josh Evans steps through a couple. Chips over the top for Aiden Bryce. It looks a little heavy. Sessions goes back and severity. A fair amount of stoppage time. A couple of injuries in the second half with stoppages. Wheelhouse. Chips wide for Pat Brown. Controls nicely. He'll just head to the corner. No thought about a third here for Lambton. Holds it up, Pat Brown. Sanders comes down and cleans up Pat Brown here. That didn't look good. Came down and hammered him. See if we can get a look at it on replay. Came across very hard, did the Englishman. Brown, a look here. Sanders came in with the elbow. Gave him a bit of a shove for good measure as well there. Kieran Sanders probably lucky not to go in for at least a yellow. And just holding his elbow, and Stephen Laurie says that will do us. And the Jaffas end Edgeworth's undefeated streak at home at 14 matches and go to the top of the NPL Northern New South Wales ladder. The question is how much of that in this afternoon will provide them with a psychological boost for next weekend in the Westfield FFA Cup. The loss pushes Edgeworth down to third on the ladder, and they suffer defeat for just the second time in 2017. However, they only sit 2 points off the top of the ladder. Last season they lost twice to Hamilton and still won the minor premiership. Both sides will now switch their focus to the Westfield FFA Cup battle next Saturday at the Lake Macquarie Regional Football Facility. Full time here at Jack McLaughlin Oval. It was Edgeworth Eagles 0, Lambton Jaffas 2. We're going to head down to Damien Smith and Chris Turner in just a moment. We're going to speak to Brad Swancott. We'll get the play of the day. We'll get the play of the day this afternoon, the Harry Snitzel's play of the day, and the Premier Sports Supplies man of the match to Michael Kantorowski for his tireless work at the back. I'll just quickly run through the ladder. Lambton up the top on 26 points. Valentine second on 25. Edgeworth third on 24. Hamilton fourth on 21. Come right back into it. Have Olympic with that win over Adamstown this afternoon. Maitland 17 with the draw against Charlestown. So they stay in fifth spot to Maitland. Lake Macquarie, the loss yesterday. They're on 16 points in sixth. Charlestown in 8th on 12, and based on the last score we got from Magic Park, which was 2-1 against Western, they will bump up to 7th on 15 points. The Jets youth stay 9th on 9 points with a bye this weekend. Western 10th on 7 points, and Adamstown at the bottom on 7 points as well. I won't be too far away from the boys having a chat. Brad Swancott and Michael Kantorowski. Pat Brown, not in a good way, still down in the corner, receiving treatment from Jaffas' medical team and the Jaffas staff. What an afternoon for Lambton Jaffas. 10 wins away from home now in a row in the NPL Northern New South Wales. Yet to lose away from home this year. 6 wins and a draw, 19 points away from home this year for Lambton, out of a possible 21. At home, five matches, 2 wins, a draw and 2 losses at
Brother,
Arthur
he's
Eden,
spelling
so
you now.
they definitely enjoy playing away from home to Lambton Jaffas. Luke Remington with his 3rd goal in a week, and 5 now for the season. And Ryan Griffiths, I should mention, with the 2nd for Lambton. So just repeating, next weekend, Westfield FFA Cup. So no NPL. We're going to break for a week. 10 a.m. Valentine up against Broadmeadow Magic. At 12, it's Lambton and Edgeworth. 2 o'clock, Coffs City taking on Cardiff, and at 4, Byron Bay up against Maitland. We're going to head downstairs now.
Boys, we're just waiting for the other Lambton officials to come in, but going to wait and have a sing on the team song. Unfortunately, we've had a bit of an injury, an injury to Pat Brown, and it's not looking great. I think it's either an elbow or a broken arm, so we'll get back to that one a bit later. Which sours the victory slightly for Lambton Jaffas. However, they'll take the 3 points and move forward. While we're actually waiting, we might see if we can get a hold of Brad Swancott. Swanee, if you wouldn't mind. So we'll go straight here. We're going to do this after the team song. We're going to talk about Brad Swancott's performance today. Got you as the Harry Snitty's player of the day. A few reasons. We're going to give it to you for a couple of absolutely outstanding saves. But then what was going through your mind when you got McBreen running at you and you brought him down for a pen?
We've got a couple of old scores. We've got to settle me and Macca, so I thought we'd just square it up that way.
And so, yourself first and Macca, you take him out in front of the team, or is it just a genuine case, because I know you're joking there, but a genuine case of you got to push him wide and contact him? What happened?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I was just trying to push him wider to hopefully get the defenders in there to help him, but Macca's a good pro and ran straight into me and won a penalty for his team. But he was pretty scared to take it, so he'd give it to the other pommy.
Yeah, so we actually said this, that if you brought down for a pen, you wouldn't care too much because you rate yourself to save him.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far, CT, but I have saved you a couple of wins with it.
You've saved me plenty. So it sounds like, Swanee, the boys are about to get ready for a team song, but just before we do, Harry Snitty, congratulations, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks to Harry Snitty.
Get him going, Swanee. Get him going. Just heard, waiting for the gaffer. Comes Brown, he's just come in. Well, now we've got some feeling back in the room. And it's good to see Pat Brown just coming back into the sheds. And he's obviously in a lot of pain. But he'll be pain be taken away by this team song in a second, Smudge.
Okay, we've got Michael Kenarowski, Premier Sports Supply Man of the Match, mate. There was some tremendous performers out there. Joe Willhouse, Ryan Griffiths coming into the side. What are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. Just arm wrestle from end to end. So credit to Edgeworth. We had to work pretty hard to get the win.
So the first half was an arm wrestle. It was like a game of chess. Both teams playing similar systems. What did Pasco say at half time?
Yeah, just play out. Just keep calm pretty much. Move the ball quickly. Just stay resilient and hopefully we get the points.
One of the reasons why you're voted players because you're playing in that central role just in front of the back three in the first half. Then there was an injury to Nathan Morris and you went back into the back three and you're superb at the back, Marshall in the back. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I played centre back once when Damon was my coach. He used to put me there, so well used to it now. So wasn't too bad.
Mate, not many teams win at Edgeworth. Great result, great performance. And what are your thoughts leading forward?
Yeah, just now with 2 points clear, just have to stay clear. And
just finally, Ryan Griffiths having him involved in the side. You got Job and you got his brother Joel. It's great to have some ex-former Socceroos and A-League players.
Yeah, just to the boys, just helps raise training sessions, like intensity. And they yell at you, get in trouble. So, no, it's good fun.
All right, Michael, from Premier Sports Supply, congratulations on man of the match and good luck for the rest of the season.
Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah, no, we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up here from the sheds. Right, next weekend, next Saturday, a few big matches in the FFA Cup. Lambton and Edgeworth, 12 o'clock at the regional football facility. CT, your thoughts on that one?
Oh, it should be a great game. I mean, in fact, one of the games I am looking forward to is the Coffs Harbour and the Cardiff City game. And, you know, Coffs Harbour a little bit unknown, and that's going to be a lot of fun to do a bit of research on them through the week. And also Cardiff, we don't know a huge amount either. So I think it'll be a great opportunity for these two clubs to progress to the next round, or one of them at least, I should say.
Your thoughts, Smudge?
Yeah, FFA Cup. Everyone plays to get in the top 32, like Edgeworth last year and Lambton last year. They're up against each other. So Lambton's going to have confidence after today's result. So it's going to be very interesting. And I know Damien Zane's put a lot of emphasis on FFA Cup. So I'm very intrigued about next week and the result.
Well, thanks for watching again this afternoon. We'll catch you on Thursday night at 7 p.m. for the NPL show. But until then, full time here at Jack McLaughlin Oval, it was Edgeworth Eagles 0, Lambton Jaffas 2.